Hey guys, it's Hink here. We got a spicy one today, and this is something that really kind of gets me worked up, so I'm gonna try not to get too passionate about it, but every time I go on the internet now, I feel like some movie, some show is going viral for a scene with a guy with a prosthetically enhanced member. It's getting to be more and more of a problem, and so I just want to talk about it today. Part of this is gonna be me ranting, part of this is gonna be me venting, and part of this is gonna be actually a history of using prosthetic penises in Hollywood industry. And so we're gonna talk about it today, so hopefully this is a good video, so stay tuned. All right, guys, so what are we talking about? So of course we're talking about prosthetic penises or fake dicks, literally, in Hollywood. And so why is this becoming so prevalent? Well, like I said in the intro, like every time there's a guy with a fake dick on a show or a scene, or honestly any kind of full frontal nudity with a male, it kind of instantly goes viral. And the bigger the name or the bigger the member, the more viral it gets. There's this show on Netflix. It's called Sex and Life or Sex/Life, whatever. But basically there is this scene that has been viewed like over 20 million times with this guy with this absolutely massive, I mean, it's like literally the size of my forearm here, prosthetic penis in the shower. And there's no way it's real, but it went viral, and literally because of that scene, that show has had a lot of success. And now there's a new scene in season 2 where there's a different guy with, once again, another massive prosthetic penis. And you know, how do I know this? Because I went on the internet. I wasn't even looking for it. I wasn't Googling fake dicks. And it's just like, bam, in your face. Netflix show Sex and Love goes viral for this scene. Check it out. And it's just becoming, once again, it's something that I'm passionate about. A lot of that is driven from my insecurity. So before you keyboard warriors go on and about, oh my God, you're so insecure, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no guys, like, yes, I'm insecure, okay? I'm working on it. I've come a long way. But yeah, I'm insecure. And so seeing stuff like this does trigger me. But back to the video, like there is a clear payoff for getting more eyes on your video. The more viewers, the more money you make. And so that's why they do it. How does this happen in the first place? If you notice, most of the time, these like egregious scenes of nudity are on streaming platforms. The reason for that is because the streaming platforms aren't governed by the same Motion Picture Association guidelines. And so they can have this gratuitous frontal nudity, and there's really nothing that anybody can do about it. But that's also why it's still fairly rare to see like full frontal nudity in a major motion picture that's released in theaters, because it's governed by that. So if you do see it, it's like a little clip or just like a little blurb, like Ben Affleck at the end of Gone Girl. You know, another reason why people say this is happening is because like women have been objectified and sexualized in movies for so long, now it's men's turn. And it's like, I'm not saying you're wrong, that's absolutely true with women, but like, how does it make sense to actually continue that abuse? I mean, I know that's a little bit strong, but instead of being like, let's just not sexualize and objectify anybody, we're just gonna be like, no, women did it, so it's only fair if men did it too. To me, that just like is a flawed argument, but you know, whatever. And so what are some examples? Okay, so I'm gonna break down some examples quickly. And so there's a movie called Vacation starring Chris Hemsworth, Thor himself, and it's a documented prosthetic penis. And he literally said that we had a choice between the 8 or the 10-inch prosthetic. We tried them both on him in a room. Us alone in a room sampling penises was very strange. That was one of the directors there. There's a movie called Trainwreck, and there's a scene with John Cena where he has like his hard D and it's underneath a towel, and they use like this massive prosthetic to simulate the erect penis holding up the towel. There's a movie called, or a show called Future Man on Hulu starring Josh Hutcherson, and like this dude in the future like fights a clone version of himself, but for some reason one of the clones is like a normal sized guy and one of the clones has like this massive hog. And so it's like, what are they even doing? There's a movie, Channing Tatum in The Vow, and Rachel McAdams is quoted as saying, Channing got the props department to make a prosthetic member, literally a fake penis. I didn't know what to do. It was very realistic. It was ridiculous, the scale of it. Jason Schwartzman and Adam Scott in the Overnight. Schwartzman told BuzzFeed about wearing the big prosthetic. There was something just kind of liberating about it. I felt quite happy to be in it. And of course, there's the OG one that started it all, which is Mark Wahlberg in Boogie Nights as Dirk Diggler, which is a porn star. And Mark Wahlberg is literally quoted saying, this thing is down past my knee. I mean, he's meant to play like an extremely well-endowed porn star, but you know, it is what it is. And then of course, Sebastian Stan playing Tommy Lee in Hulu's Pam and Tommy. And then Eric Dane in that show Euphoria, also documented prosthetic penis, okay? And so, you know, once again, I can already see you guys in the comments, you know, you, Hank, you're so insecure. Why is this a problem? Well, I'll tell you my opinion on basically why this is a problem. And so, once again, there's a movie that's called Gone Girl. It's a great movie if you haven't seen it. It's starring Ben Affleck. And at the end of the movie, Ben Affleck is sitting there naked in the shower, shows his massive hog. But this wasn't like, oh my God, it didn't really with me like that. And so why didn't it? Because it was still like a realistically proportioned member. Yes, it was huge. Like, was it porn star huge? Arguably, I've seen, some moderately endowed porn stars, but it wasn't like that scene in Sex Love where like literally the guy's flaccid is like 9 inches long, like literally down almost to his knee. And so there's also a movie called Shame with Michael Fassbender, Magneto in the X-Men series, and he has like a massive hog. He went viral for it, but it still is like realistic. I mean, because it was his actual and so it's just not, to me, it's like, okay, that's a well-endowed guy. Good for him. Not like, holy like that's not even remotely reasonable. It's not remotely realistic, okay? And part of what I think the problem is like these actors that are using prosthetics, like obviously they're using a prosthetic for a reason. So I get it. If the script calls for it, then, it is what it is. Like, I get it. It calls for a very well-endowed member, and if the actor is not that well-endowed, then, you got to do something about it. But a lot of the times it's just these actors are insecure and don't want to put their on a screen, and so they use this as almost like a costume. Maybe this is a stupid example, and feel free to sound off on me in the comments, okay? The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he had a movie called Hercules. In this movie called Hercules, he had this long, beautiful, flowing brown hair, like shoulder length, incredible hair. The Rock is bald. And so what if The Rock went viral for his hair? And like girls on talk shows and on Twitter everywhere would be like, oh my God, did you see The Rock's hair? That is so beautiful. It's so immaculate. But The Rock knows goddamn well he's bald. I know that's kind of a bad example, but it is kind of the similar thing. And so this guy, Adam Demos, okay? This is the sex and love scene that I'm talking about. If you guys are like super duper insecure, don't watch this scene. If you're not and you're interested, it's in season 1, episode 3, and it's at 19 minutes and 50 seconds, okay? I never watched this show, but yes, I did put this information for you guys, so you can have this as a reference. Once again, this dude's is like literally like 9 to 10 inches flaccid. The problem is, maybe 1 in a billion guys, maybe not even that. I mean, I've seen horses less endowed than that dude, have a that actually looks like that. But now, once again, that scene has been viewed 20 million times. And I was talking to one of my female colleagues, and, whatever, being a hater, hater, the hink, the hater, whatever, it, guys. But I was like, yeah, that's prosthetic. And she's like, are you sure? And it's like, dude, have you seen his? Like, yes, that's prosthetic. And then she was like, oh, well, it's still nice to fantasize anyways. The problem is like that kind of gets internalized, and basically people have these already unrealistic expectations of what is like an average penis size. There's evidence and there's these studies that show that 85% of them overestimate what an average penis size is. It just leads to all of these insecurities, and it leads to these dysmorphic disorders because, if the younger me saw that and I wasn't nearly as well informed as this, and I saw that guy's I would be like, holy shit, I have the smallest penis in the world if that is considered a big dick. And so guys, we get this dysmorphia, and we get these insecurities about our dicks, and it's perpetuated from shit like that. And once again, it's one thing to see like Ben Affleck and you're like, damn, that's a big dick, and like I don't have that. But it's another thing to like have a dick that's like literally like 5 times the size of that and be like, holy shit. If that's big, what am I? Once again, guys, just my opinions. Feel free to sound off on me in the comments. Every comment helps the algorithm, but I really think that this dysmorphia and this body dysmorphic disorder and this small penis syndrome, where these are literally documented, what we call ICD-10, meaning you can put in that as a billable code. So it's real, it exists. There's a Medicare code for it. It's partially due to, guys just being up in society the way it is, but it's also due to scenes like this and this perpetuation of what is actually or is not actually a realistic penis, and part of this is perpetuated by porn as well. And so like one argument is like, well, women use prosthetics all the time. There's a show on Hulu, it's called Pam and Tommy. So just so you guys know, I haven't seen any of these shows. I just researched this for this video, but the actress's name is Lily James. She does not have a very big bust. So in order to play Pamela Anderson, she had to wear a prosthetic bra, okay, or prosthetic, boobs for the show. And so, she's, I don't know, like a C or a B cup, and Pamela Anderson has like one of the most historic racks of all time. She's at least like a double D. First of all, she admits that she's wearing a prosthetic, and also she's playing an actress that has well-documented breast implants. One of the things that it's not fair, women have it easy. That's not true. I don't believe that at all. But one of the things that is nice about being a woman, I use that in quotes. I know this is kind of horrible to say. Let's say you want big boobs and you're a woman. You go get a very safe procedure, which is breast implants that can take you from an A cup to basically as big as you want to be, just like that. Problem solved. I know it's more complex, it's more nuanced. Women have insecurities too. Women's rates of depression are significantly higher than men. Women's rates of body dysmorphia is also significantly higher than men. I'm not trying to make light of any of those things, guys. I'm just specifically talking about the dichotomy between using a prosthetic penis in a movie versus using something like prosthetic breasts, okay? Procedure-wise with men, like there's literally I would not say any surgical procedure I would ever consider for my penis right now. The closest thing is like hyaluronic acid injections, which can give you a girthier penis. But as far as like actual length, it's not like, I'm 5 inches and I want to be 9 inches. You walk into a urologist and you walk out with a 9-inch. It doesn't happen like that with women who get these, immediately bigger bust transformations. And so that's one thing to keep in mind. And so a lot of you are probably saying, you, Hank, it's Hollywood, who cares? If Dom Toretto in the Fast and the Furious franchise can drive a rocket ship car on the moon, then, these guys can have these massive hogs. Fair. Very fair. However, that's part of the problem too. Like, a lot of guys think that if you shoot a gas tank with a pistol, that it's going to make this like massive explosion. And so once again, Hollywood kind of distorts reality, what is or is not possible. Similar thing with like fake natties, guys. And so, picking on The Rock in this video, The Rock says, oh, I eat chicken, broccoli, and rice, and that's how I'm almost 60 years old and jacked out of my mind, when really we know that it's steroids. But the guys that aren't up to it, aren't smart enough to know that he's on performance enhancing drugs, think that, oh, okay, if I wake up at 4 and work out and then I eat my chicken, broccoli, and rice 6 times a day, I'm gonna look like The Rock. And then they don't look like that. Once again, body dysmorphia, and once again, promoting these unrealistic images. At least it's real life. If you want to have like a superb physique, some of you are limited by your genetics. You just don't have the genetics for it. I could lift as much as I wanted to and as much gear as I wanted to, and I would never have thighs like BD. It's just not going to happen. It's not in the cards for me. But if I were to go in gear, I could look significantly better. And so if you want to improve when you're talking physique wise, you can at least go on gear. But when you perpetuate this like prosthetic massive penis in Hollywood, and millions of people are seeing this, and yeah, there's a good proportion that's like, that's fake, but there's also a really good proportion that's like, holy like, that's what a big penis looks like. I always thought a big penis was like 6-inch flaccid, and now I'm seeing a 9-inch flaccid. So that's actually what it is. And you're never going to encounter that. I won't say never, whatever. Extremely unlikely you're ever going to encounter that in real life. So it just shifts the whole perspective of things to unrealistic proportions. And so one of the real life problems that it causes, besides me just like being pissed off and, you kids won't get off my lawn, like, it really causes body dysmorphic disorder. And it also causes guys, like myself, to get real insecure about their penis, and then they go on and try to buy dick pills to try to make their dick bigger. Or, they're getting things like the pneuma surgery and absolutely up their dicks permanently because they are trying to get, anything to make their penis bigger because of these expectations that have been essentially forced upon them. So what can we do about it? Well, the point of this video is honestly just to make people aware, because I think awareness and realizing like, oh, Adam Demos's in Sex and Life was fake. Oh, okay. Like, I feel better now. It does help with that. And also get the word out. Just like, once again, the Fast and Furious guys driving Chargers on the moon, like, having a 16-inch flaccid penis is not realistic at all. The other thing, guys, is penis enlargement is legit. I know. I'm sure there's guys sounding off in the comments right now. It's not real, blah, blah, blah. Just like on small problems and big problems subreddits, but I'm not going to go into it here, guys. There's published level 1 evidence that shows that you can in fact make your penis larger with things like extenders, for example. If you want to learn more, to go to the subreddit r/gettingbigger, and you can learn more, or you can, follow my username at the top there. And once again, we're not talking like you can get 4 inches, okay? We're talking that if you're lucky, with dedication in a year, you can get between a half an inch to an inch in length. Like, realistic, it takes a lot of work and dedication, okay? And you probably say, oh, Hank, you're full of shit. Guys, like, I have my before and after video, pictures on the subreddit where you can clearly see the difference. So that's all I'm going to say about that. If you don't want to believe me, then go yourself. I mean, just kidding. Just do whatever you want to do, okay? Also, one thing you can do is that if you know that male nudity might bother you, if you're with your girl, you don't want her to ogle some massive hog, on whatever movie that you're watching, then just Google it first. Wait for it to come out and, try to get a spoil-free review to see if there's any male nudity in it. It normally documents that pretty clearly there, okay? And so, guys, like, what are my conclusions? Okay, so guys have always been insecure with their manhood, but like, I feel like this craze for full frontal nudity is making things a lot worse. It's like, it's going viral and it's like it's already on the show, and then it's going viral and it's being thrust upon even more people's faces. That's why I think this is a problem. Obviously, like, I'm not gonna be like, okay guys, we have to boycott Hollywood. Like, there's nothing we can do that's gonna change that, guys. It's just, we can be more aware. I just think we also need to get used to it, guys. The trend is, the more you show, the more viral you're gonna go, the more eyes on your scene. So it's gonna become more and more popular. I do think some of the worst people on the planet are like the fake natties in bodybuilding, and guys like Adam Demos that are like, oh no, that's my real penis, and then like has people tweet like, oh yeah, it's his real penis, when it's no way that's possible, guys. But anyways, just to double down once again, you keyboard warriors, please have at it, man. Just address my lack of masculinity and how much of a pussy I am because I'm bothered by this stuff. Like, I'm just, I've seen on the subreddits that I'm certainly not the only one with these insecurities. And so for all you guys that this is not an issue, just skip over the video. I mean, if you got to this point, you've already watched it now. But for those of you that are suffering from similar insecurities, just know that I'm there with you guys. I think it's normal, and at the very least, hopefully you can find some support and some comfort in that. I do think it's also very important to remind yourself of the realistic stats, okay? So guys, in general, the average penis girth is about 4.5 inches, and the average penis length is about 5.5 inches. And so, we're pushing boundaries. Things are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You need to ground yourself with actual reality and what's real. But that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for letting me kind of vent. This is kind of cathartic for me. If you need to reach me, my patreon.com